Hey everyone, it's Jayson, and these are my top 3 cruise news stories of the week. And the last story, it feels like cruise lines have zero clue about public relations, as it feels like they're almost trying to one-up Royal on their free pizza survey. So cruise story number 1 is about the family that's out $60,000 because they made 2 major mistakes. So mistake number 1 is they're located on the East Coast of the United States and tried to fly to Seattle the day of their cruise. Please don't do this. Fly in the day before your cruise. I can't tell you how many people we've seen miss the ship because they tried to fly in the day of their cruise. It doesn't matter if you have cruise air. It doesn't matter with anything. There is no guarantee the ship will wait for you, even if you have cruise air. Second mistake they made was they didn't have cruise insurance. Now this is twofold. One, they're out the money, they have no protection, and that's really disappointing that they didn't have that insurance. But the second thing is if something were to happen on your cruise and you need medical evacuation, this can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you have to ask yourself, can you afford, let's say, $250,000 in medical evacuation? If you cannot, and this could save your life, then get or spend the $200 maybe dollars and buy cruise insurance, and make sure, this is what I always do, that you have $500,000 in medical evacuation. I want more than I need. And the other thing that I do look at is if you have pre-existing conditions, many times to be able to cancel anytime you want or be a little more flexible in your insurance, you have to book that insurance the day you book your cruise. And that's something that you may want to have a conversation with your travel agent about or the cruise insurance company. So cruise story number 2 is Royal Caribbean raised some prices. And I think they did this on the slide. There was no announcement. I think people were taken a little off guard by this. And after what happened with the pizza survey, I don't blame them that they made no announcement. They just kind of did it. So most of these places are more a la carte places like Playmakers, Yazumi Sushi, Portside Barbecue. The one exception is the Mason Jar, which is a fixed dining menu price, and it went from $24.99 to $34.99. So that's a pretty significant jump there. We saw anywhere from a 30 to 60% increase in prices. The one thing I will say is these are choices of places that you can eat or don't have to eat. This is not like they're taking something free or included away from you. So that is one thing that I think that you can make that choice. You don't have to eat at these places, but unfortunately, if you do want to eat at these places, they have gotten more expensive. And I think that they quietly did that, no announcement, as every one of us were freaking out over the free pizza from Sorrento's. So cruise story number 3, and I do believe this is worse than the free pizza survey, is that it's being reported through Cruise Critic and a few other sources that the Celebrity Equinox is now charging for cookies, for chocolate chip cookies. They're now $2 a piece with a 20% gratuity, making them $2.40 a piece. You honestly can't make this stuff up. I couldn't even make this up. So to me, this is the very definition. If you looked it up, this would be nickeling and diming. I can't even imagine this. So I do, this is the way my brain thinks, is who on earth at Celebrity thought, hey, this is going to be a great revenue driving thing for our bottom line. Okay, you really believe so? What do you give away? 1,000 cookies maybe a week? Let's just say they give 1,000 cookies away a week. $2,000 for this PR, bad PR? Do you think that's worth it, huh? There's multiple pages on Cruise Critic, and I'm going to tell you this. A lot of people are like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm canceling. I'm not going. I'm out. This is just a principle thing for me. So they're going to lose more money than any of this that drove revenue. This is just silly. I just can't imagine that. And then my mind also goes to, do you really need that little money? Are you that strapped for cash that you need $2,000 for your bottom line? Wow. That's pretty scary. That's where you're coming up with ways to generate revenue. So there's two things they should have done. One, just get rid of cookies. Just get rid of it. It would have been better off, because it's not going to generate the kind of revenue. People are not going to pay $2.40 for a free cookie that were once a free cookie. They're just not going to do it. There might be a few, but it's not going to generate the kind of revenue they think. Number two, give away free cookies maybe on the 2C days. Let's say on a 7-day cruise, it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you give away 150 free cookies and you do one per passenger. That's an alternative. And while people wouldn't have been happy with it, it would have given the first one, hey, we don't have them anymore. They go, okay. The second one, they would have been like, all right, at least we got something, right? That is fairly understandable to do both those things. But to think that this is going to be some revenue generating event, that's scary to me. That first of all, you have people within your company that come up with such nonsense. And then other people that are higher up in the company that go, hey, let's sign off on that. That's a good idea. What? I just am blown away by this. And I'll keep going back to this. This so much reminds me of Disney during the pandemic. We were here. We saw it. We saw what they were doing. They were the only game in the country. Disneyland was closed. Everything else was closed. People came here and they were like, we're going to take it to people. Well, guess how that's going right now? And that's really what's happening at Disney right now. People have the memory of being ripped off. They don't mind being expensive. Going on a cruise can be expensive. Celebrity can be expensive. They don't mind that. But when they start feeling like they're being ripped off, that's when they remember that. And I'm going to tell you, people are starting to go, I'm going to cancel Celebrity. I was going to go on the Equinox, or I was going to go on the Apex, anything. It doesn't even have to be the Equinox. They're moving on. They're going to go. And a lot of these people have the ability to go to Viking. They have a lot of ability to go to Oceania. Other premium, very premium luxury lines. They're out. They're going to try other cruise lines. And I just wonder what is going to happen when this revenge travel is over. Because it's going to end. You see it in Europe. It's packed. You see it all over the globe. Just a lot of these cruise destinations are packed. And I think a lot of that's just going to come back to more normal, to the way we saw it 2018, 2019, when people were traveling at a normal rate to these places. And then what happens when you have really ticked off your loyal fan base? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I would love to know how you guys feel about it. I know I'm a little crazy about the pizzas and the cookies, but I just think that this is just a bad avenue that these cruise lines are going towards. So want to hear your comments about that. So what's interesting about this is we're actually going to be on the Celebrity Equinox pretty much as when you're viewing this. So I will be reporting back about the free cookies. There's also another rumor that Cafe El Bacho, the desserts in there are not free anymore also. So keep an eye on my shorts and my community posts because I will be updating them. I do appreciate you guys watching. If you could, give this video a like and I'll talk to you next week. Until then, happy cruising.